at Pimlico Racecourse in Baltimore, and one of America's most recognized corporate images, the blimp, Spirit of Goodyear, providing our aerial views today. Goodyear blimps have been a familiar sight in the American sky for nearly 80 years. Beautiful day for racing here at Pimlico. Tomorrow, the 129th Preakness. We're getting set for some more live racing coming up in a matter of moments. This is Mike Smith, the jockey, getting aboard Ruthless Babe, getting a little hand from Patrick Biancone, who perhaps reacting to the heat just a little bit.
One thing about the paddock here at Pimlico Racing, like a lot of racetracks, it's enclosed. It's actually inside is the best way to describe it. So it's probably pretty hot and steamy down there, and that's why Biancone has got the short sleeves on. For the Preakness, they do saddle outside away from that smaller paddock, but today they're in the regular saddling area.
This, the Miss Preakness field. It's for 3-year-old fillies, 6 furlongs. And there's a lot of speed in this race, Kirk.
It's a pretty good race. Arik, the favorite right now at 6-5 from the barn of Mark Hennig. She has got some speed. She shortens up off a good mile win at Aqueduct, and 6-5 off a 9-2 morning line. Forest Music was a very, very impressive maiden winner at Laurel last fall. In fact, so impressive, she went off at 7-1 in the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Juvenile 4 fillies. So there's some talented fillies in here. On the outside, a couple of other contenders. Number 9, Among My Souvenirs, is unbeaten. She's won all 3 of her career starts. Nice price on her at 7-2, and there's plenty of speed for her to run at. She should be running on late. Good field of 11. Shoot for this $100,000 purse.
And Among My Souvenirs, one of the horses, one of the few in this field that prefer to come from behind.
Yeah, she should get a real good trip because she will be trailing the horses early on. She can finish. She's unbeaten, and she should come with a strong close. She has not raced since February 14th.
As we mentioned, a lot of Preakness connections in this race as well. And here is Stephens Angel, the Smarty Jones connection. Stuart Elliott will be riding. John Service, the trainer.
She was a little flighty coming over. You can still see she's really on her toes and really keyed up. They had to saddle her out on the racetrack instead of in the enclosed saddling area. Once she got saddled and got in a post parade, she seemed to settle down. And I think it's really nice for Stuart Elliott to get a ride in a big race over this track here for John Service, kind of get their feet wet today. It's nice to get your feet wet when you're shooting for a $100,000 purse. That's the purse for today's Miss Preakness. So not a bad place to start before tomorrow's Preakness.
Only in the big time for
exactly
those guys now, right? Long way from the smaller purses that they've ridden for in the past, and done so quite successfully. This is Forestier. It's a speed field. This might be the best speed horse.
Comes off a real nice win back in mid-March at Aqueduct. She powered home convincingly, beat a pretty good field that day. She's run well in all 4 starts. She's a daughter of Forestry, who himself is a son of Stormcat, so she's got a very nice pedigree. She's also a Maryland bred, and she is a good price right now at 5-1. That's a good look at the favorite, Arik, right now at 3-2. Little surprised, Reese, that she's so short a price. Thought she might be favored, but little surprised she's such a short number here for trainer Mark Hennig.
A little Eddington connection too. Jerry Bailey aboard here.
Yeah, that's probably accounts for some of the wagering here, as she's getting bet often and early. Only 3 minutes to post, and she's holed at 3-2.
Only her 4th start. She's won 2 of the previous 3. We'll see Bailey can bring home Arik and bring her home with a victory here in the Miss Preakness field.
This is the start of a pick 4 here today at Pimlico with a nice guarantee of $100,000. Races 9, 10, 11, and 12, which include the Black-Eyed Susan and the Pimlico Special. So a nice pick 4 kicking off here with the Miss Preakness.
Let's go back to Among My Souvenirs now. Mario Pino will ride. We talked about this horse perhaps being the one that would benefit from the pace set. Is that a fair assessment of the situation?
Yes, it is, because she's got a very good closing kick. She's not a horse who's going to fall way out of it, because she has a little bit of tactical speed. She can sit 5th or 6th if she has to. I just love the way she's finished in her previous 3 starts. The filly she beat in her last start on February 14th, a nice filly named Bohemian Lady. She came back to win the Cicada, a stakes race after that race. So Among My Souvenirs has beaten quality competition, and she is a good price right now. Although she's come down a tick as we've been speaking, she is now the 2nd choice at 5-2.
And jockey Mario Pino, as we mentioned, he's in the irons here. Won more races in the state of Maryland than any other jockey in history. I think I'm starting to smell a Bud Longshot. I mean, Janine Edwards has the answer to that.
Well, for this Bud Longshot, we thought we'd give you some value. Perilous Night, number 6 at 25-1. She represents many years of careful breeding by Robert Meyerhoff, who owned her grand dam, Wings of Jove, who trainer Richard Small picked out at a sale. And then he bred her dam, Broad Smile, who Richard Small told me was one of his all-time favorite fillies. She was 1st, 2nd, or 3rd in 26 of 27 lifetime starts, a multiple stakes winner, all hard. And this is Broad Smile's 4th foal. She looks just like her. An orphan all 4 of her foals so far have been winners. Now, Richard told me this morning, Perilous Night used to be too aggressive and a little rank. He says she's coming into her own now. He says the little problems that she's had, they've worked out, and he says this filly has not run her best race yet. He's expecting a big effort from her today, so 21-1 might be a nice little cash ticket there.
So there's your Bud Longshot. Hosbin Santana hoping for a smooth ride to bring that home.
And Janine talked about the trainer Richard Small, a fixture in Maryland for many, many years. The dam of Perilous Night, Broad Smile, is by Broad Brush. Broad Brush was a top handicap horse who came out to California, won the San Diego Handicap back in 1987. And Reese, on a personal note, that's one of the first guys I ever interviewed in the business, Richard Small, and he couldn't have been nicer. And I was very green and very intimidated to be interviewing a trainer before a big race like the Big Cap.
And perhaps some might be intimidated by Miss Preakness.
Not us, Reese.
Certainly not us.
Miss Preakness on hand. She'll be down in the winner's circle for the Miss Preakness, a grade 3 event with a nice $100,000 purse.
And there is Baldemera, and we've mentioned Seattle Slew many times in this telecast, a granddaughter for Seattle Slew.
And a pretty nice filly. I'm surprised she's such a big price at 40-1. I don't know if she's good enough to win the race, but I really think she will be finishing. I thought she might get into the trifecta or maybe the superfecta, finish 3rd or 4th, and here she's 40-1. She's got a good closing kick, and she's run well in a graded stake before. She was 3rd in a grade 3 at Aqueduct, or 2nd in a grade 3 at Aqueduct last November.
You see the shot from high above, and there is the Bud Longshot, Perilous Night.
She's one of only 2 horses who's run here at Pimlico. She's won both of her starts at Pimlico. The 3-horse, A Case of Class, has started 3 times at Pimlico and won twice. Everybody else is a first-time starter here at Pimlico.
And Perilous Night overall with 9 starts, 7 times finishing in the money.
Very, very consistent filly. She's also got some tactical speed. She can finish. She definitely gets tested for class. She's facing much better fillies today, but she's in good form and likes this course here at Pimlico.
But all of that, of course, means that Janine has come up with an educated Bud Longshot.
That's a nice way of saying that's a good long shot at 21-1. Exactly, Reese.
And among my souvenirs, work among my souvenirs in. And Dave Rodman is going to have the race call for us on the Miss Preakness field.
In fall fashion moving in. Next we have the Oriole Orange colors of Marathon Farms Incorporated and Peter Angelos. And Baldemera, one of the long shots. 2 long shots on the outside here. Baldemera and Ruthless Babe. Mario Pino won this race in '97 with Weather Vane and Missy's Music on Among My Souvenirs, is in the gate for Marathon Farms Incorporated. And looks like just 1 or 2 back. It's got a great day here at Pimlico for horses wanting to go in. I think we're going to get the last one in now. Ruthless Babe, last to load. And they're all in, and they're off. A Case of Class showing early speed. Preakness is right there. And Fall Fashion came away in good order. Forestier and Forest Music are side by side in 4th and 5th. Here's a favorite, a Reek in 6th, got to chase the pace. Among My Souvenirs settles 5 lengths off the lead. Racing about mid-pack and racing off the rail. Perilous Night is next, followed by Ruthless Babe and Stefan's Angel. And last of all is Baldemera, strung out by some 10 lengths. A Case of Class, a long shot, takes him into the far turn by a neck. Preakness is right there in the 2nd spot. Forest Music has taken that 3rd position right alongside Fall Fashions, countering back, and on the outside Forestier is steered to the outside at the 5/16 marker and looming. Reek is working hard, about 5 lengths from the lead. Among My Souvenirs still lingering at the rail. They're at the top of the lane, and all of a sudden Forestier has circled him on the outside to take that lead. Forest Music out to the middle of the track trying to come with a run, so it's Forestier and Forest Music passing the furlong marker, and Fall Fashion work. Oh, we got a spill there, a spill at the 3/16 mark, just past it. 2 riders down, Perilous Night's rider and Among My Souvenirs. Coming down to the line of the 16th marker, it's going to be Forest Music and Stefan's Angel. Forest Music, Stefan's Angel, close. Forest Music, Stefan's Angel in a photo finish. Forest Music hangs on from Stefan's Angel, and Fall Fashion was 3rd in the Adina Stallions Miss Preakness Stakes and 1/10 of a second. Still have a rider down there just past the 3/16 mark. Mario Pino, Among My Souvenirs rider, still on the ground. The rider of Perilous Night, Hosbin Santana, up and assisting, and number 9 Among My Souvenirs at the 3/16 mark. And Pino is moving about.
Well, certainly that is good news in the early going. As you heard Dave Rodman mention, Mario Pino moving around. Mario came to the state of Maryland back in 1979. He's won this event, the Miss Preakness, on 3 occasions, in 1991, 1997, and 2002.
That's a good sign there, Reese. Yeah. Both guys are up and walking around. Mario Pino and Hosbin Santana. Very nasty accident. The 9 Among My Souvenirs broke down. coming down the stretch. Number 6, Perilous Night, could not avoid the broken down horse Among My Souvenirs. Can't tell you, the 6, Perilous Night, appears to be okay. She crossed the wire, galloped past the wire without the rider. She appears to be okay. As for number 9, Among My Souvenirs, that did not look good. Looked like she broke down pretty bad there coming down the lane. But good news, both riders standing up, talking, moving around. Good race, marred by that unfortunate incident when they turned for home.
So there is the victor, Forest Music. Ramon Dominguez coming up with the victory.
Big day for Ramon Dominguez. That is 4 wins on the card for Ramon. And Forest Music, a filly who showed a lot of promise last fall when she broke her maiden at Laurel by 8 lengths and then finished down the track in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies.
And right now, the number 6 horse has been an injury. We will update that coming up. Today in Pimlico returns. In Pimlico Racecourse in Baltimore, and you see, fortunately, after the spill in the Miss Preakness Stakes, both the jockeys involved, including Mario Pino, walking into the ambulance. That is certainly good news. Perilous Night and Among My Souvenirs got tangled up. Both went down. Dr. Larry Bramlage tells us that the 9 horse, Among My Souvenirs, appears to have a dislocated front right ankle, and in Dr. Bramlage's words, it appears to be pretty grave. But the victor in the Miss Preakness Stakes was Forest Music. For the 4th time today, Ramon Dominguez coming home a winner. Likewise for the owner, Michael Gill.
Nice day for Ramon Dominguez and Michael Gill. 4 wins on the card here today at Pimlico. As for number 9, Among My Souvenirs, as you pass the long race, that did not look good. A lot of times in racing, you'll call them a bad breakdown. That appeared to be a bad breakdown. Unfortunate, but the winner, Forest Music. $19.80 on the win end. Stefan's Angel was second. Fall Fashion was third. $2 exact to $133.20. The final time, 6 furlongs on a fast main track. 110 and 4. If you prefer the hundreds, 110 and 97 100s.
So Forest Music coming home with the victory there. Ramon Dominguez riding, and Mario Pino, as we mentioned, walked into the ambulance, and after the nasty spill, certainly we are quite grateful for that. They are just bringing him back to the jockey area. We are told now that he is not headed to the hospital, so the news continues to be good.
And Reese, most racetracks have their own first aid station. If the guy is a little banged up or needs to go in and just make sure they're okay, sometimes they'll stop at the first aid before they head back to the jocks room. But just seeing the guys up, walking around, talking, and getting into the ambulance, good news for both riders involved here in the spill in the Miss Preakness.
And you see him moving around inside the ambulance there. And when they went down, certainly it was a difficult spill there for Among My Souvenirs, who is one of the horses that we talked about prior to the beginning of the race. And to reiterate, Dr. Larry Bramlage saying that the injury appears to be, at this point, pretty grave. A dislocated front right ankle is what they're calling it at the moment.
Better news for number 6, Perilous Night. Race. I turned around and saw her across the wire without the rider. She galloped out. She appeared to be relatively okay. So good news for the connections of Perilous Night.
See now everybody checking to see how things went. That was Hosman Santana, who earlier had a winner here on this undercard. Here as we work our way through the day before the Preakness here at Pimlico Racecourse in Baltimore, and we had long shots win. We had some course records set, and unfortunately that has marred what has been an exciting day of racing just a little bit.
Yeah, it was a really good day racing until that unfortunate incident, and it's something you touched on earlier, Reese. We've had a lot of long shots today. 3 straight double-digit winners on our show this afternoon, so lots still to come here today at Pimlico.
We will continue to update condition, Mario Pino, and if we can update the condition of Among My Souvenirs, the horse who went down, we will continue to do so and look ahead. Back here in Baltimore, Pimlico Racecourse today. Pimlico rolls on. Full order finish in the Miss Preakness, the race that we just saw a few moments ago. You're on a beautiful day in Baltimore, and Forest Music able to come home ahead of the field, Kurt.
Very important win for Forest Music. She's got a very nice pedigree by Unbridled Song of a Gone West mare, and she is now a graded stakes winner.
Perilous Night Among My Souvenirs involved in a tangle on the stretch. Janine Edwards is standing by.
Well, I'm happy to have jockey Mario Pino standing beside me because he was on board Among My Souvenirs. And you said other than just being a little short of breath, you feel okay?
Yes, it was just knocked the air out of me when I hit the ground.
Now, you've ridden this filly all 3 starts. She was undefeated. Did she feel any different today than she had in her 3 prior races?
No, she warms up great. She's a talented filly, and you know, she's just starting to make a little run at the time, and, you know, just unfortunate, you know, the game that things happen like that. And
What do you think happened?
I think she just, you know, broke right on top of her ankle. And once she took that one bad step, she just kept on going. And, you know, just feel bad for Mr. You know, Angelos for his filly. And glad everybody, you know, come out okay.
Well, we're glad you're okay. Go ahead and get cleaned up and get yourself together. Thanks for joining us, Mario. And here I have the winners. I have trainer Mark Schumann, who trains this talented filly Forest Music, and rider Ramon Dominguez got to ride the next race. So first time on this filly, what did Mark tell you going into the race, what to expect?
They didn't think that the filly was at her 100%, which is something good to know after she performed so well.
Wow.
Yes, and they actually asked me to kind of place her forward. I mean, if she was going to be 1, 2, it would be great. And she got outrun a little bit, and I found myself right behind the speed, and she rated great for me. And down the lane, when I got her to the outside, she just, I mean, took off.
Well, that was the place to be, so congratulations. Ramon, we'll let you get back to the room. And Mark, I'm sure you must be thrilled to have this filly sort of, even if she's not 100%, back at what appears to be top form.
Yes, no, her first race last year was just, it was amazing. And we mismanaged her last year, and I guess you get to the Breeders' Cup, and we were fortunate not to hurt her. And just even after that, to this race here, she's had 3 workouts, and to be honest, I asked Mr. Gill not to run her, and I just said she needs another month to be fit. And he said, didn't you say that first time she ran? And which I did. She's just natural. I mean, people say a freak, and she is. She's just her stride, and she just does it. You can't tell how fast she's going. When she's going in every workout, she'll relax. But when you ask her to go, she'll put, you know, she'll go 10 and change with nothing.
Well, congratulations, and it's nice to see Forest Music back in the winner's circle. Reese?
Janine, indeed it was. We got more racing coming up a little bit later on. You're on the family of networks. The Pimlico Special, a $500,000 purse up, and it's a star-studded field, though maybe not quite as star-studded as we'd hoped.
An important scratch. Funny Side will not run, but this is a top-class field for the Pimlico Special. Southern Image, fresh off that win in the Santa Anita Handicap back in early March, the second choice in the morning line at 3-1. Dynever comes off a sensational win in the San Bernardino on April 3rd, also at Santa Anita. Good match between these 2 top-class handicap horses.
You mentioned Southern Image, the star of this field, no doubt. Quint Kesnick standing by with Mike Mikowski.
From California, he's got the shades on here at Pimlico. This is your first trip to the East Coast to Maryland. How does it feel to be here an hour away from post time?
That's a great feeling. Everything's gone well to the moment, and there's another hour to go.
You said in the Santa Anita Handicap your horse never got a breather. Why was that run so impressive?
Just the horse made a 5/8 mile run from the 5/8 pole because he just kind of had to commit early to go on, or he'd have been boxed in, and that's hard for any horse to do.
Watching you train this week, watching you work, you talked about how your horse has changed in the morning. What does that mean?
It's usually a very good sign. He's acting like he's a hell of a lot more professional. He's coming up to this race strong. You know, he just finishes works a lot better, relaxes. I mean, he's just done everything, you know. I couldn't ask for him to do any better at the moment.
You worked for Richard Mandela for many years. What advice did he give you for this East Coast trip?
Oh, he's always given me advice along the way, and, you know, just he wished me luck, and, you know, that's about it.
The scratch of Funny Side. The race is kind of open in terms of speed. Will you tell Victor to take the lead and rate, or what are your plans?
I'm going to let Victor figure it out from when the gate opens. He's ridden him enough. He's worked him enough. He knows what kind of horse he has under him. So he's, you know, they're going to just leave it up to him. He can be on the lead or sit off the pace. And, you know, we're going to get a great trip, I believe. Mike
Mikowski, Southern Image, 4 straight victories.
All right, Quentin, Southern Image will try to make it 5, and Citgo Preakness week continues. A Black-Eyed Susan coming up 5 o'clock Eastern time. Might want to mention, too, in the Pimlico Special, the reason Funny Side won't be racing, respiratory problems aggravated by the heat and humidity that we are experiencing here in Baltimore. We will handicap the Preakness tonight, 6 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2 to get you ready for the run for the Black-Eyed Susans. Just a day away before we can see if Smarty Jones can conquer Pimlico and Baltimore. This has been a presentation of ESPN, worldwide leader in sports. For more information, you can log on to ESPN.com. For Kurt Hoover, Quint Kesnick, and Janine Edwards, I'm Reese Davis. Stay with us, everybody. Poker's coming up. Kenny and Randy are about to load up, too.
You're watching Citgo Preakness Week coverage on ESPN.
It's Preakness Week in Baltimore, and that brings the stars of thoroughbred racing back to town. Last year, the big one was Funnyside, who dominated the Preakness by the largest margin since 1873. 1873.
It is Funnyside. He's won the Preakness by almost 10 lengths.
Funnyside was the New York bred gelding who could. But now we have a new sophomore sensation, Smarty Jones, the pride of Philadelphia. Tomorrow, he hopes to wear the garland of black-eyed Susans that adorns the Preakness winner. Trainer John Service is the one trying to make that happen. And he's been to Pimlico before. In 2000, he won the race named the Black-Eyed Susan with the filly Josser. But today, his mind is on other things, as we run the race named for the flower. And later on, we'll have the Pimlico Special, featuring classy handicap horses from East and West, including the country's newest handicap star, Southern Image, already the winner of a pair of million-dollar races this year. Today, an outstanding racing doubleheader, plus the new-look field for the 129th Preakness. It's all next on ESPN. Welcome, sports fans. Baltimore, Maryland. Here we are at Pimlico getting set up for Preakness number 129. That's tomorrow. We got good racing going on right here. In fact, you've already seen some good racing on the ESPN family of networks. Going to find out on Saturday if Smarty Jones can go 8 for 8 and continue his improbable story. So many stories, so many layers with that. He's trying to go forward and set up 3 weeks from tomorrow to be in the Belmont and seek a Triple Crown. We got great racing here today. Little downer note, because Funnyside, we're not going to see him come back in the Pimlico Special, but it starts out with the Black-Eyed Susan. They're getting set to saddle for that. In fact, they're doing doing that right now over there on the turf course. And then the Pimlico Special, grade 1. You know, if you saw Seabiscuit, you remember the Pimlico Special, right, Randy?
Seabiscuit and War Admiral.
But we have news here. You remember in the Kentucky Derby 2 weeks ago, the morning line favorite was Nick Zito's The Cliff's Edge. Had lost his shoes in that race. Doesn't go forward this time, so it's reduced to 10 instead of 11 for tomorrow's Preakness. He was just too beat up and not ready to go.
Yeah, what an up and down spring for Nick Zito. The Cliff's Edge suffering from an abscess in the toe of his right front foot that just proved too much to overcome this week. This was taken not this morning, but yesterday morning. And as you can see, that's more than just your ordinary everyday soreness. That is lameness. We talked to Nick Zito this morning as well, and he was pretty philosophical about it all.
It adds to a lot, you know, about frustration. But guess what? I'm old now. See the gray hair? Right? You know what? Life is, let me be philosophical. Life is different now. This is horse racing. The main concern is the horse. I can't worry about self-serving things, myself or anybody else. The horse comes first.
Well, he's hoping to go forward, get him ready for the Belmont 3 weeks from then, but there's still the good summer series. We'll find out what happens with Nick Zito and the Cliff's Edge. We got a good one coming up now in, what, 8 minutes. The Black-Eyed Susan, this one for the 3-year-old girls. And Randy Moss has railed for years against the racing officials to give us a Triple Crown for the females. You know, they could do it because they got the Oaks and they could go to this and then the Acorn, but they're standalone races. We have one scratch from the one on the inside. Stuart Elliott doesn't get another work on the track.
Not many Kentucky Oaks horses come back without a bonus 2 weeks later, but we have a couple of good ones in here, including Pawnee Princess, owned by Michael Gill, who's already won 4 races today. She's got a great chance to win, but look at the heavy favorite in the field. Yearly Report, trained by Bob Baffert right now, ridden by Jerry Bailey, at 2-5. A field of 7 now with the scratch going 1 mile and an 8.
Hasn't done much wrong. 4 starts, 4 different jockeys. Bailey beyond her for the second time. The 6 Yearly Report getting hammered at the windows 2-5.
Now Baffert, of course, ran Victory USA and Class Above in the Kentucky Oaks. Yearly Report could be as good as Victory USA. The only time she's been beaten was by Silent Size, who's a pretty good filly in her own right, who ran in the Kentucky Oaks. And this was Yearly Report's last start in the Mel Air at Hollywood Park. Her first time around 2 turns. It was 1 mile and a 16th, and she handled it well. Interesting, though, I ran into Bill Mott a few minutes ago, who also has a filly called Minifique in this race.
He's been coming here a long time. He said he has never seen the racetrack as deep at Pimlico as it is right now. And he is interested to see how the California fillies, who are used to running on tracks that aren't nearly as deep, are going to come east and handle a surface like this. And the Yearly Report, of course, is one of those California fillies. She's never been out of California for a race.
Janine Edwards is downstairs with the horses. She has an opinion now on another, a local who went up against the boys recently.
That's right. Pawnee Princess is trained by Jerry Robb. He's been training for 30 years. He's been Maryland Trainer of the Year, over 1,100 winners. He says he has never had a horse like this in his barn. He said he's never had a horse that has worked as brilliantly fast and as easily in the morning as this filly has. Now, her last race was quite impressive. She took on the boys in the Federico Tessio. Here she is on the rail, battling the pace all the way. Water Cannon came from off the pace. And Jerry told me this filly wasn't even 100% fit for the Tessio because he didn't work her between the Tessio and her prior race. He said she's so fast in the mornings, it scares him. So he did not want to breeze her. He said today, for the first time in a long time, he's running this filly. He says she is 100% fit and he's ready for a big effort.
Water Cannon, the long shot going in tomorrow's Preakness. Maybe this one here is sort of the test case to see if you like Water Cannon a little bit more on Saturday with Ryan Fogelsonger. If you like winning money but you hate losing money, then go to ESPN.com. Click on horse racing. Long John Silver pick 6, giving away as many as $500 every week. Hey, they're 5 minutes from having a horse race here at Pimlico. We're going to show it to you live. Take a minute for a break here. We're coming back with the Black-Eyed Susan. Stay around for that. Hey, we're back here high above Pimlico, getting set up for the Black-Eyed Susan, just a couple of minutes away. And Randy, America the 3. Looks like 1904 form. 23 starts.
She runs more often than any stakes horse in America, basically. And she's got no chance to win, probably. She's 45-1. But suddenly now she has a 48-day layoff. So I called the trainer, Frank Morier, this morning, and I said, hey, what gives? And he gave me an answer that I really wasn't expecting. She was having sex in Lexington.
Truly.
I knew you would like that.
Did she get the Keeneland K for that? Or
she is now
branded
in foal to El Prado. She is officially pregnant. They've got her back at the races now.
A lot of these female athletes are playing pregnant these days.
She is off Lasix, no drinking, no smoking, no Lasix. Right. You know, she'd been on Lasix, and they don't want to do that because she's carrying a foal.
Who's the father?
The father is El Prado.
I'm sorry,
the stallion. So in a biblical sense, she now knows El Prado. And they're going to run her as long as it is feasible to run her. You know, Spain, the all-time money-winning filly mare, was pregnant when she ran the last few races of her career. When she broke the record.
Songtrack may throw a shower or something.
Songtrack, a rare merger of perhaps the two biggest breeders in America, Denny Phipps and Will Farish. They've merged in other ways. Denny Phipps's daughter married Will Farish's son, but here they combine on the ownership of Songtrack, trained by Neil Howard, who comes off a 7.5 length allowance win at Keeneland from way back in the pack. That was the race before the Bluegrass that she won.
That was after not breaking the maiden until early January, so lightly raced when compared with America. We're going to come back and race this race. They're just slowing things down right now. There's Jerry Bailey. He's up on the favorite right now, getting bet at 1-2. Stay around. We're coming back. We're really going to run the Black-Eyed Susan right here on ESPN. Stay around. Back here at Pimlico, got him pointed in the right direction anyway this time, nearing the starting gate here.